to order the public hearing on the proposed Thorndale Corridor Tax Increment Financing District. Roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano.
Here.
Alderman Jacob.
Here.
Alderman Lazara.
Here.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Here.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Here.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Here.
Alderman Wood.
Here.
Mayor Police.
Here. But first, we'd like to begin tonight with the public hearing on the proposed Thorndale Corridor Tax Increment Financing District in accordance with Illinois law. Notice of this public hearing was mailed and published in the Daily Herald newspaper on February 5th, 2015. The City Council adopted an ordinance O-15-003 setting this public hearing and setting the Wooddale Joint Review Board meeting for consideration of the proposed Thorndale Corridor redevelopment plan and project area, and tax increment financing. All notices were then given as required by statute and the city's interested persons registry rules. On February 23rd, 2015, the JRB conducted a public meeting in which it was appointed officers and performed other statutory duties, received and reviewed the public record and the redevelopment plan and the project for the Thorndale Corridor redevelopment project area prepared by the city's appointed TIF consultant, SB Friedman. The public meeting before the JRB was continued to March 16, 2015, where the JRB reconvened and continued its review of the public record and the redevelopment plan and the project area, and reviewed the proposed ordinances approving the redevelopment plan and project, the project area, and tax increment financing for the project area. Questions and comments were received by the Joint Review Committee. At the conclusion of the meeting on March 16, 2015, the JRB found by unanimous vote of the 7 members present that the planning documents and proposed ordinances meet the eligibility requirements and the objectives of the Tax Increment Financing Act, and recommended that the city approve the plan and project, the project area, and the TIF increment financing. The plan and project, the notices, the ordinances, and the JRB recommendation are all made part of the record of this public hearing. Tonight, we'll have the city's TIF consultant providing a brief summary of the plan and project on the proposed of the ordinances. We have Mr. Jeff Dickinson and Mr. Michael Roth here this evening. And then after they speak, there'll be opportunity for any public that might want to speak. Go ahead, Mr.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. Jeff Dickinson with SB Friedman. Glad to be here. Give you a brief summary of the TIF. It's about a 600-acre area. I think you all know the origins of this TIF district. There's been a strategic vision of the city.
I can't hear you.
To redevelop.
Is the microphone on?
Is that one on?
It's on.
It is on? Okay. The city's got a strategic plan that our firm also helped with to redevelop the area along Thorndale. We conducted research on those parcels. As I said, it's about 600 acres. Found 7 factors that were materially present in the area. State law requires a blight finding to have 5 or more of these factors, so we found lack of growth in EAV, deterioration, excessive land coverage, excessive vacancy, obsolescence, presence of structures below code standards, and inadequate utilities. We helped work with staff to draft a plan, including a budget and all the other required elements, to essentially guide the use of this tool, public finance tool, to facilitate redevelopment. Creating a TIF district does not commit spending any dollars. It doesn't commit any activities. Those are future decisions for council. So this is just information at this point, and it's the creation of a tool. That's what's under consideration and discussion tonight. As I understand it, there's no action allowed, but it's the question of whether this tool is useful and applicable to the redevelopment goals in the area of the city. But our recommendation is the area is eligible, and it's really for the council's consideration at this point.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone interested in addressing the city council regarding the TIF? May do so at this time. Anyone? Yes, if you could go to the microphone, state your name and address, please.
Oh, right here?
Yes.
Yes, we own property on Creel Drive. How does Creel Drive meet those requirements?
Can you state your name and address, please?
My name's Katrina Ovan. We're homeowners and we own property at 739 Creel Drive, also 348 Butternut Drive.
The findings, I guess I don't know.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm
Go
sorry, I
ahead,
jumped
go
up 10. I don't know particularly your parcel. I'd have to look that up in our
Well,
database.
it's the whole street I'm referring to. There's nothing obsolete about Creel Drive. It's quite a nice street.
Go ahead, Mr. Dickens.
Okay, well, I can walk through the different factors if you like, and I can't speak specifically to that stretch exactly, but I can tell you several of these factors are found at the area-wide level. That's the way they're analyzed. And so, for example, if there is deterioration, a mix of deterioration, including deterioration of streets, curbs, parking lots, things like that, that would be one way there might be deterioration in that specific area. But if there's
There's
deterioration
not.
scattered throughout the district, we found deterioration to be materially spread across the area. Lack of growth and equalized assessed value is a calculation. So you add up all the property values in the whole study area and conduct your analysis at that level. So it's not about any individual parcel in that case, but rather the collective value of the tax base and what has happened to it over time. Excessive land coverage, again, I can't speak specifically to, and that was predominantly found on the industrial parcels, so it probably wasn't found on your parcels if they're residential parcels.
No, wait. What she said is she lives in town, correct?
Oh, I see.
Did I understand that correctly?
We own,
But-
our building is on 739 Creel Drive, and we also own a home. in
right.
Oh, I see.
Right.
So if
So
you've got
the
a
home
smaller.
is not there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So if you've got a smaller industrial building, it may not be suitable for contemporary industrial standards. It may be underparked. It may not have enough access and loading. So those are the kinds of things we observe throughout that
Right,
make that.
but
the
that's
building-
not true. That's not true of Creel Drive. You want to destroy an entire street, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing obsolete about that street.
Well, I guess there isn't an intention to destroy the street. It was just an identification of characteristics
I
of the land.
think your intention is to turn our street into a parking lot.
Mr. Roth, maybe you want to? You have to go to the microphone, please.
My name is Michael Roth. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Ice Miller, retained by the city. And Mr. Dickerson's comments are correct. It's a question of whether or not the conditions, first of all, it's a question of whether the area that's designed, the entire area, qualifies. And not every property within that area, not every street in that area is going to necessarily, in and of itself, meet those standards. It's a question of whether the entire area substantially meets the standards. And the design for any improvements, there's not going to be any, there's no plan for ruining any property or demolishing any buildings or anything like that. The plan still has to be developed. There isn't even a developer at this point. So the question really that SB Friedman was asked to address was whether or not the entire area, this area designated, qualifies on the whole for the TIF standards. And their finding is that it does, and that's it. Now, if...
Excuse me, sir.
No.
Sir,
No.
sir, if you'd like to speak, I'll let you speak at the microphone. No problem. No problem. We just want to keep this.
But that's really essentially what it is. It's a question of whether or not you move to the next step, which is to address the ordinances at the next meeting, based upon the findings that it does in fact qualify, at least, for a redevelopment and TIF.
All right, thank you. Did you want to speak, sir? Or anyone else wish to speak on this matter? Can you? Of course. Roy wants to ask a question, no? Mr. Roy Wesley, Alderman Roy Wesley,
I have a question for you,
for Mr. Roth.
Mr. Roth.
Sure.
The mic's on. The city could get out of this TIF district at any time, correct?
Mr. Roth, go ahead.
The city can get on the TIF district?
Get out.
Oh,
Get
get out of the TIF district? Sure. I mean, once you issue bonds, though, and once you commit yourself to contracts, you're going to be liable, based upon your contracts. If you enter into redevelopment agreements and so forth, then you are. But basically what happens is that the city, if it finds that it's appropriate to adopt TIF, then it creates a special taxing status for that area. That's what it does. Now, again, pursuant to that, you'll be making financial commitments. That's the plan.
I
You have a
understand
phone,
that,
go
but
ahead.
if there's only say there's only three properties that take advantage of this TIF district that come in and develop, the city's liable for those three, and then we don't have to go on
You don't have
Mr.
to,
Roth.
you don't have to approve the TIF. You're going to make a decision
No.
in your wisdom.
No, you misunderstand what I'm
Okay.
saying. Say this TIF goes on for 2, 3 years, and we got no development. There's no liability,
Correct,
so we could get out of it.
correct.
Right.
Okay.
Go ahead, you have a
And,
follow-up?
yes, I want to make it perfectly clear, if there's a building that doesn't want to sell or don't want to do anything, they don't have to do anything. They're not forced to do anything.
Once
correct?
again, that is going to be your decision. I mean, if a person doesn't want to develop their property, they don't have to develop their property. If some developer comes along and reaches an agreement with them to buy their property and redevelop it, then that
Yes.
could happen. And
Right.
that's
Right.
what often does happen.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Alderman Woods, you want to make a comment?
Well, I was gonna maybe touch on the same thing, that it's
Your
up
microphone.
to that it's up to the individual owners. If the owners do not wanna sell, nobody's forcing them out. So if a company comes in and offers you money for your property, and you deem that a good price for your property and wanna sell, then you sell, and that property could be developed. If you deem that's not a good price, or you just plain don't wanna move, then you don't have to move. There's nothing in this agreement that's forcing you to move or get rid of your piece of property.
That's right.
You have to go back to the microphone, I'm sorry.
This isn't going to be about eminent domain?
No.
No, this is not eminent domain.
Thank you.
No, no.
That's why I meant it. That's why I was
Right.
trying to say.
Thank you. Okay.
Right. No problem. Anyone else wish to address the council? Oh, Alderman Sismarski, I'm sorry.
Just to let you know too, there are no plans for a parking lot, yet there's no plans at all to tear up Creel or get rid of our industrial area. So,
Go ahead.
I think you should throw it out.
Our neighbor on Creel Drive downloaded all of this information and showed us the new perspective map, and our street was gone.
Well, there is a proposed master plan.
Yes,
But again, if you say, some developer comes to you and, you feel your property's worth $3 million and he offers you one, you're gonna tell him, not a chance. And there's nothing he can do about it. He can't move you out, nobody's kicking you out.
thank you.
You-
Okay, I just thought.
You are the owner of your property.
Yes, thank you.
yes, it was just
Okay,
a vision. It was just,
All right.
nothing's been said.
I apologize.
Yes, if you'd like to go to the microphone, you have to state your name and address also.
My name is Milovan. I have been in this country 55 years. I cleaned the toilets first 2-3 years, merchandise mart, and then I went and got the degrees in economics and so on. I'm in a racing car business. That building that I'm in is beautiful, 739 Creel. If you come to my building, you can see the history of American racing. I'm really not willing to give that to Obama or to anybody else.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your kindness.
You're
It's
welcome.
OVAN. OVAN. Open.
Thank you.
Do any other citizens wish to address the council?
I don't think we could beat that one.
Okay. There being no further public comment?
No, you do.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Wesley, I didn't see your hand up there.
I just think the thing that was on the website was the vision plan of Thorndale if people choose to sell their property. It's not, this council is not going eminent domain any property up there at all. I won't, personally. I won't vote for eminent domain at all. It's a vision plan of Elgin O'Hare if people choose to buy their property, if a developer comes and buy their property, and that's what it could look like. That's all it is. We are not taking any properties. We are not doing that. So all those documents that were on the website is all a vision plan, what we would like to see it look like. We aren't going to say, we want this, we want your building. It ain't going to happen. It's up to the developer, come and buy the building if they want. So I just want to make that clear that we are not, I'm not going to vote up here to take any property over.
Anything further? All right, there being no further public comment, the city council is scheduled to vote on the ordinances approving the Thorndale Corridor Tax Increment Financing District redevelopment plan and project area, and tax increment financing at our next city council meeting, April 16th, 2015. And upon adoption and execution of the ordinance, the city manager will publish the final version of the document and place it on file in the city clerk's office and at the Wooddale Public Library. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the Thorndale Corridor Tax.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Tony, go ahead. We have a motion and a second. Let's get a roll call, so.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sismarski?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
Okay, and that closes the TIF. Now, those that are here for the TIF, if you want to stay for the next public hearing, you're welcome to, or the meeting right after, or you could leave. We have some really exciting stuff tonight if you want to listen. I need that one.
Not really. If you get the chance to run. You get a chance, run.
Oh, you okay, Shirley? Ready? All right, I'd like to call the public hearing on the budget. No, because then we, the tape gets messed up. I call the public hearing on the budget for the city for fiscal year 2015, 2016 to order. Now we don't have, Roy, if you walk out, we don't have a quorum. We need a quorum. This is a,
We'll call him back in here.
roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano?
Here.
Alderman Jacob?
Here.
Alderman Lazara?
Here.
Alderman Sismarski? Alderman E. Wesley? Yeah. Alderman R. Wesley?
I'm still here.
Alderman Woods?
Here.
Mayor Police?
Here. We begin tonight with the public hearing on the fiscal year 2015-2016 budget. In accordance with the Illinois law, the notice of this public hearing was printed in the Daily Herald newspaper. The purpose of this hearing is to offer the public the opportunity to provide input on the proposed city budget for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2015. Alderman Wesley is now
I see.
back here, okay. And ending April 30th, 2016. In particular, we are interested in how our resources should be budgeted to meet the needs of our community. We will summarize the major provisions and follow with public comment. Mr. Wilson, will you please provide the summary of the budget?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
As we've done in the past, I have just a few slides. The first one is the dates. Draft budget was sent out on February 13th. First and only budget committee meeting was February 26th. Notice of this meeting was placed in the paper on March 12th, and April 2nd is today, so here we are today. That's a quick rundown of the budget process this year, very high level, of course. Overview, there's no reduction in any service levels in this year's budget. The proposed budget does include two new full-time positions. One will retrograde back to a zero after the apprenticeship is over. However, there are two new full-time positions currently in the budget. There are also 8 expanded level items to actually enhance the services that the residents will receive. You can see there the bike patrol, crime analysis, tree trimming, sidewalk replacement, roadway striping, pavement patching, street sweeping, and a new K-9 unit in the police department. We did receive the preliminary property tax levy back from the county, and that's the new estimated rate for the tax levy. The previous year's rate is there. The breakdown of the city's sales tax rate hasn't changed in a few years. That's the makeup of the sales tax rate within the city. Major revenues, we hit on the general fund, general capital projects fund, and the water and sewer fund, as those are our biggest expenditures by fund. There's a brief breakdown there. These are functionally all the same within 1 or 2% of each other from year to year. So not a lot of change, pretty static in that regard, which is a positive thing. Everything's stable, not a lot of fluctuations, which is a good sign for the city. Major expenditures in the CIP this year were at just under 15.9. Last year was just over 14.1. The reason that they're so high is the intersection program was in last year's budget, obviously did not get completed, so it's re-budgeted this year, which is why the number's still up there pretty significantly. The conclusion of the Phase 1B of the treatment plant, expenditures, we're going from the pay-as-you-go vehicle replacement model to a SURF, which is a sinking fund, depreciation fund, which we discussed. And then for the first time in a few years, there was a rather nominal, only a couple $1,000 police pension fund increase. Historically, that had been around $80,000, $85,000. So it's definitely nice to see that moderating at least for a year to keep things in check. Some adjustments. This one was actually for the fiscal year that we're still in today, was to reduce the reimbursement transfer from the water and sewer fund back to the general fund and leave $350,000 of the $688,000 in the water fund to help add some liquidity and buy a little time on the rate increases to help try and smooth those out a little bit. That $350,000 adjustment does not have any impact aside from the residual fund balance. It doesn't have any actual operating impact on the budget. There was a motion to transfer $400,000 from the MFT fund to the General Capital Projects Fund to be earmarked for the Ward 2 street construction. So that will be done. And then there was $10,000 added to the expenses in the general fund to reinstate the generator grant program that we had a couple years ago. That was funded through the civic grant through the electric aggregation. When that grant lapsed, the program ceased. However, there was votes to put that program back in. So you're just focusing big picture on the general fund as presented. It started with an increase in fund balance of $42,861. There was the $10,000 adjustment added to expenses for the generator, taking it down to $32,861 as presented this evening. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Is there anyone interested in addressing the city council regarding the budget at this time? Any? Okay. There being no further public comment, the city council is scheduled to vote on the budget tonight. Upon adoption and execution of the ordinance, the city manager will publish the final version of the document and place it on file in the city clerk's office and at the Wooddale Public Library. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the budget.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That concludes the hearing. Now I'd like to call the city council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano?
Here.
Alderman Jacob?
Here.
Alderman Lazaro?
Here.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Here.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Here.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Here.
Alderman Woods?
Here.
Mayor Police?
Here. I declare a quorum present. Please stand and join the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion to approve the city council minutes of March 19th, 2015.
I'll make second.
Any questions or corrections? Eugene. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, do any citizens wish to be heard on matters not listed on the agenda? We do have one distinguished guest, State Representative Christine Winger, in the house to
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and Christine Winger, 336 South Dominion Drive, Wooddale. And I'm here tonight to mention that my local office is open and ready to serve the district. It's located in Bloomingdale. The idea there is to be central to District 45. It's about in the middle from east to west. It's at 1 Tiffany Point. It's a white brick building. It's on the corner of Schick and Bloomingdale Roads. 1 Tiffany Point. And the phone number and address is, a copy was given to Madam Shirley Siebert, our clerk. And once again, I look forward to serving the constituents. Thanks for having me tonight.
And thank you for coming out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do any other citizens wish to be heard on matters not listed? I do have one written communique. It's from Matt Ellman, the Park District Director. He just wants to, I want to inform all of you that I was a recent participant and graduate of the Wooddale Citizens Police Academy. He enrolled in the program for 2 reasons: learn more about police services and the daily responsibilities of the police, to become better acquainted with the individuals that work for the Wooddale Police Department. As the Park District Executive Director and person responsible for the Park Ranger program, I figured this experience would help me understand and relate to the off-duty officers that we employ as park rangers. I want to convey to you how impressed and pleased I was with the program and the value it personally brought to me as a leader in the community. On all levels, the program exceeded my expectations. The curriculum was not only interesting and informative, it was presented in relatively an engaging manner. Sergeant Dan Wilson and the other officers involved made sure the content was delivered in a fun and meaningful way. Every individual I encountered went out of their way to make me feel welcome and ensure that I had a rewarding experience. He was especially impressed with the planning and implementation of the content. It was evident that a lot of the time and effort was put forth by Sergeant Wilson and Jennifer Knight, Community Service Officer. They truly conveyed their passion for the department, their jobs, and the academy for every night of the program. Having access to the police department facilities and back-of-the-house areas, participants connect and apply the learning objectives of the program. Thank you for supporting this program and allowing Wooddale Police Department to provide the Citizens Academy. Okay, Mayor's report. We do have one item under Mayor's report, the vehicle sticker winner. The City Council had placed a joint vehicle sticker program with the Wooddale schools within the strategic plan as a priority they wanted to accomplish. The City of Wooddale held a contest to design the city's 2015-2016 vehicle sticker. This year's theme was Favorite Spot in the City of Wooddale. 4th grader Michaela Logue, depiction of the clock tower garden titled "O Flower Garden" was selected as the winner by the City Council. Michaela's description of her artwork, I made a picture of my favorite spot in the City of Wooddale, which is Little Flower Garden by Shorty's. I like this area because it has a nice seating area by all the flowers and trees and the City of Wooddale sign. I think it is just a gorgeous place to be. Michaela, if you'd like to come to the podium. So on behalf of the entire City Council and the City of Wooddale, here is the new vehicle sticker for this year that Michaela drew. Very nice. McKaylee, I'm sorry. Congratulations. We thank you very much. We have a little, this is a plaque for you, so you can put this on your wall. And we have a certificate of award, winner of the City of Wooddale Vehicle Sticker Contest McKaylee Logue. Thank you. Would you like to say a few words? Sure. Thank you, John. Why don't you say- Oh, here. Here, let's take a picture. Come on. Mom and Dad want to come in? Sure, come on in.
Someone else wants the limelight. Christine, go up there with
Let her go there. Doesn't matter.
Hold on. It's $100 gift card. Michaela?
We gotta watch this mayor.
I'm very sorry, Michaela, you were also the winner of the $100 gift card. Thanks, sir.
the mayor was gonna use it as target.
Yeah, right.
All right, that concludes my report. Mr. Murmas, manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For those residents at home who are in for a fun evening of learning about the Elgin O'Hare project or the Wooddale Road, Irving Park Road Safety Improvement Project, you are welcome to attend an open house at Wooddale Junior High on April 22nd from 4:30 PM to 7:30 PM. Representatives from the Tollway Association will be there to talk about the Elgin O'Hare project along Thorndale, and representatives from the city's consulting engineering firm HR Green will be on hand to talk about the upcoming project at the intersection of Wooddale Road and Irving Park Road. And we'd like to have a really detailed timeline of events next week for the council for the intersection project, and then that'll be explained to the residents at the April 22nd meeting. There'll also be a mailer going out to all residents, a postcard mailer, sometime later this month. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, consent agenda. We have 6 items on the consent agenda. I entertain a motion to approve. If there's no, any objections to any item, Alderman Eugene Wesley,
3.
before we make that motion.
3.
Item number 3. Any other one? Okay, I entertain a motion for the remaining 5 items.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Questions, corrections? Roll call, please.
Alderman Cadell.
Oh,
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
I don't think he's gonna answer.
Alderman Jacob.
Here.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Here.
Alderman E. Wesley.
Here.
Alderman.
Why are we?
Yes. Yes.
Supposed to be yes?
Yes, it's a yes.
Why are we saying here?
For the short answer, nice. Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
And that passes. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the items on the agenda. Item number 1, a resolution seeking to approve a 3-year contract between the City of Wooddale and Sinagro for the removal of sludge rendered in the not-to-exceed amount of $22.55 cubic yard. A resolution to approve closing Irving Park Road, Illinois Route 19 for the Memorial Day Parade. Item number 4, a resolution seeking to approve an agreement contract between the City of Wooddale and Sickich LLP for auditing services in the not-to-exceed amount of $186,990. Item number 5, approval of variance extension for the property at 331 North Oak. Item number 6, a resolution seeking to approve a contract between the City of Wooddale and Landmark Sign Group for the city sign project in the not-to-exceed amount of $29,486. Do I have a motion?
Make that second.
Okay, Alderman Wesley and Alderman Sismarski, second. Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sismarski?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
And that passes. Next, under committee chairman reports, planning and zoning, Alderman Woods.
I have one report, a resolution expressing appreciation for services extended by John Forrest to the city of Wooddale.
And before you make your motion, let me read that resolution.
Sure.
No. Don't accept it.
Resolution expressing appreciation for services extended by John Forrest to the city of Wooddale. Whereas John Forrest has devoted his experience, knowledge, and dedication while serving the city of Wooddale from August 21st, 1989 to April 2nd, 2015. And whereas John Forrest began his service to the city of Wooddale as building inspector, building safety division supervisor, and director of community development, and served the community steadfastly in a capacity until his retirement. And whereas John Forrest began his connection with Wooddale in 1955 when his family moved to Wooddale, and whereas John Forrest has exemplified the role of employee by having performed his duties consistently during his career with the city of Wooddale, and whereas the quality of life for citizens of the city of Wooddale have been greatly enhanced by the knowledge, experience, and contributions of John Forrest. And whereas the city of Wooddale is deeply indebted to John Forrest for his distinguished service to the city for over 25 years, and whereas the manager, mayor, and city council of the city of Wooddale desire to express John Forrest their gratitude for his dedicated service to the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council, city of Wooddale, DuPage, Illinois. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any comments? For, go ahead, Alderman Roy Wesley.
John is, you've done a lot for the city. You're on your way to a new journey. And the citizens should be very proud of having you work for the city for such a long period of time. You've seen the city grow from, I don't know how long.
Horse and carriage.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say that. And you've seen it grow, and your knowledge is surely going to be missed here. And I wish you best of luck.
Mr. Murmas.
John, just I'd like to say a decade ago when I started here, you were the guy with cool hair. You're still the guy with cool hair. Consider you a friend, and I really enjoyed working with you, and on behalf of all city staff, you'll be missed, and good luck in the future. And keep that cool hair.
And before I let John speak, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. John, thank you, and
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this. I was hoping for a car, but this is good. Thank you very much.
The car's
It's,
waiting to escort you out of town.
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely.
Chief, fire it up.
Yeah. Alderman Roy Wesley was correct. When I first moved out here, this area was farms from Foster all the way north to Mount Prospect, from York Road almost all the way to Arlington Heights Road. And, you know, after spending about 10 years traveling, I came back here, got involved in the real estate business, late 70s, early 80s. Started interfacing with the city councils at that point in time. So kind of seen it from that side of the fence as a realtor working with clients.
right.
Remember that?
John's the real. John sold us our first property here in Wooddale.
But he doesn't hold it against me. Yeah, there's been a lot of changes. It's been the 25 plus years I've been here, been very exciting. Was involved in Woodside subdivision, Tall Oaks, Orchard Lakes, probably half of the buildings on the west side of Wooddale Road up in the industrial park, the Target, the Jewel Osco. There's been a lot going on. There's going to be the next 25 years, there's going to be a lot more going on too. Shifting gears a little bit, and but Wooddale, I think, has a great future. I think the most successful city councils have been those who've worked closely with staff, keep a good line of communication with them. Remember, we're all on the same team, and that'll give the most benefit to the residents of the city of Wooddale, and that's how it's supposed to be. Thank you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
I also wanted to mention that I've had the opportunity to work with you, John, for over 11 years, and John has always been someone that you could call and just talk to about whatever issue, and know that he would listen and look at both sides of whatever I was faced with dealing with a call from a resident or whatever the case may be, and really have a non-judgmental way of handling it. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And that concludes your report.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you.
Try
Public
to
health,
top that one.
Public Health and Safety, Alderman Roy Wesley.
No report.
Thank you. Public Works, Alderman Lazara.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one approval of partial payment request, number 5, to Swallow Construction for the Ward 2 Capital Improvement Phase 1, in an amount not to exceed $110,574.45. That is my motion.
Do I have a second? Questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
And that passes.
And that's the end of my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Finance Administration, Alderman Sismarski.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Under other business, we do have the one item, item number 3. Need a motion to adopt an ordinance adopting the annual budget 2015, 2016.
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions? Alderman Eugene Wesley.
Mr. Mayor, unfortunately, I wasn't here at this meeting when you discussed this. I'm a little concerned about moving $350,000 out of water fund. I see another thing coming down the pipe here. We have kicked the treatment plant down the street to redo the treatment plant. Eventually, this water rate's going to have to go up, and one of these days, we're going to come up and we're going to have to tell these people, we're going to give you $3 water increase because we won't be able to fund the projects down the line. To move $350,000 out of our water fund.
No, wait,
No,
that's
listen.
incorrect.
Sounded
We moved $350,000 back into the water fund.
from the capital.
Capital
It was in the budget, there's a transfer of $688,000. We didn't take any money out. We put $350,000 back, which would help. We did take a 50-cent increase. The city took a 50-cent increase in January. And this $350,000 basically, I'm not mistaken, Mr. Wilson, would be about 60 cents or 70 cents more. So that helps alleviate, so we can space out that $3. That's why it was done. Because the general fund was going to be over $700,000 to the good. So we took half of the transfer, about half, and moved it back to the water fund to help the residents. That's what,
Okay.
there was no money taken out.
I misunderstood.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Alderman Roy Wesley, you had another comment?
Yes,
Yes, go ahead.
it is about the water fund.
Okay.
Brad?
Mr. Wilson? You could go to the microphone. There's going to be a question for you here. I
No,
think.
there's gonna be more than a question.
Okay, no problem.
Brad, I had Brad stretch out some, you made 8 copies? 9 copies?
I think there's 12 here, but
Could you pass them out to the council?
Sure, go ahead.
Here, Matt will do it.
What you're gonna get here is page 150 of the budget. I think it's page 150, correct?
not sure the page reference, but it's the, hang on one second.
What you have here is the water fund. For year after year, we've been increasing the water fund from the DuPage County, and we've been cutting back on the city portion. I asked Brad to run the numbers for running the sewer treatment plant that pays for our gas and electric and employees and stuff like that. I asked him to run it out to 2020, and if you see that, the change is $1,400,000 in the hole. This needs to be addressed sooner than later. Like we were saying, we're just taking these water rates and kicking them down the road here, the can, and it needs to be addressed sooner than later. If you guys are saying that Ron Emanuel is not gonna raise the water rates to us for 3-4 years,
Guys,
Come on.
hey, guys,
it's,
one at a time.
you gotta be kidding yourself. And DuPage County is gonna bring those rates right to us. So, how many years, how much money do we have to make up to make sure we don't go into this 1,000,004?
Mr. Wilson, you want to answer that? Go ahead.
A couple of quick clarifications real quick. An extrapolation of page 140 of the budget.
Okay, 10
So,
off.
Okay.
Just, clarifying.
Thank you.
And the page that was prepared, the rate assumptions are assuming that there's no increase in the water and sewer rates. So if we just pass along City of Chicago DuPage Water Commission and don't take any additional city share. The question to,
Real quick, this is taking into consideration the 50 cents. We did take 50 cents
correct.
on the water. That's already taken in here.
Yes.
Okay.
So, as was discussed in November, going out a few years, the estimated deficit at that time would be about $3 million. And so right now, again, based on the current rate structure and assuming all things stay consistent moving forward, you would have to, in essence, make up the 1.4 million in revenue to break even, to get back to the black, if you will, on the numbers.
You want to make a comment? I was going to
Well-
comment to that, but go ahead.
I'll let you go first, because
All right.
let's see what you come up with.
Well, here's what's going on. Before we took the 50 cents, according to the study that was done, we needed another 350. Okay. So 350, we took 50 cents. Now, if somebody wants to make a motion to take the additional $3 and hit the residents all at once, I think we heard some of the conversation that night. Could we extend it out 2-3 years, maybe 4 or 5 years? Maybe when Bright Oaks building comes online, that could help out the situation. Again, every year would be discussed. And so the council made a decision to just take the 50 cents and see at the end of next year what happens. Now, number one, by doing the 350, that does help. Is the 350 in these numbers, Mr. Wilson? I'm not sure.
It is, yep.
Okay, so, and that's, otherwise, if the 350 wasn't there, that number would probably be 1.7 million at the end, or 7.5, correct?
Correct.
So just so everybody understands, Mr. Alderman Roy Wesley, I'm sorry.
If you think Bright Oaks is
No, that's not gonna, I know.
that's not gonna come even close to this,
No,
okay?
So.
So,
It's gonna help, but it's not going to.
Yeah,
No,
okay,
no.
so I wanna talk about this sooner than later, and I wanna put it on the finance agenda within the next 3 months.
Okay.
Because, every year it's been going down $1 million. $1 million. And you know, what's gonna happen? We're gonna get to 2018, 2019, and I know everyone wants to save money for the residents. I'm for that. Okay? But I don't wanna hit them with a $3 increase either, and I know, understand that you're trying to stretch it, but we have to address this problem sooner than later, because it's gonna bite us.
I understand 100%, and believe me, I always tell people we need $3. We're doing the best we can to minimize the impact to the residents. And since we ended up with, what, 740,000 extra in the general fund, we didn't need the entire, and let's face it, next year, we might not be able to take that money from the, it's not, there's no guarantee you're gonna be another 700,000. But, you know, again, it should, again, it should be looked at every year, and if we wanna discuss it in 3 months, let's say, you know, halfway through this budget, see how we're going, I mean, that's fine. The manager already already marked it down, so
No.
3 months. He
Not,
marked,
not halfway, 3 months.
that's fine, either way. Did you have anything further before I call on anybody else?
Not right now.
Okay. Alderman Woods.
Yeah, I wasn't really prepared for this, but since we're asking questions, this shortfall of $1.4 million, so shouldn't our water fund, what should we running at as far as, you know, as a positive? Aren't we supposed to be holding like $1.1 million? So really, this number puts us off close to $2.5 million from where we financially should be. It's only $1.4 million from zero, but we should be, have a fund balance of roughly $1.1 million, if I remember correctly, or $1.2 million. Is that correct?
Mr. Wilson.
Sure, so, a couple different ways to answer that one. GFOA has guidance for the general fund. For enterprise funds, their guidance is that their rates are to be set so that they cover their own costs, that they're self-sustaining. So there's no specific GFOA guidance on that. There is, however, you know, the fund balance net asset policy that the council passed a number of years ago.
Correct.
That does set a floor, theoretically, for what that number should be. And when that floor is hit or approached or breached, then, you know, it would be a note in the budget that we're below that level, and we need to come up with a plan to raise it up above that level. So technically, yeah, to your point, you know, reaching that floor or whatever, in that 18-19 year, you would get to that floor where that, you know, hit the button and, you know, break glass in case of danger or whatever, button would get hit, and there'd be a note and a conversation about that in the budget.
You have a follow-up, or?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
the next question is, does this number include the Irving Park water main, which was a big project, and I don't believe that we didn't have that in our plan? That isn't in this.
It's an unfunded,
That
Mr.
and the-
Wilson, go ahead.
I think there were two things, that and the water tower, that's my, and then that's the end of my question.
Yeah, correct. The Irving Park water main is still in the unfunded, and so it is not in these calculations. We took the approximate 1.8 million spend to the CIP every year and put that in here. So anything above and beyond that, such as the Irving Park water main, was not included in this, because at the current time, it's not programmed. So yeah, this does assume everything staying constant moving forward. So yeah, if you were to add that in, then it would change that math.
All right, thank you. That was it.
And Brad, when you say everything remains constant, you're saying that the city council is never gonna raise, what, let's say, I know we had this discussion, raising the water, it'd be raising the sewer.
Whichever way.
Either way, I mean, it's the same. But I know we've had some conversation that technically it's the sewer that needs the money, so it should be the sewer side of it that gets raised. Either way, I mean, so, but this is assuming this council does no more increases through 2019, correct?
Pass-through increases would be included from, you know, City of Chicago,
Right,
DuPage
right,
Water
right, no,
Commission. But city portion,
Our own
correct.
portion, which we know we still have $3 remaining. And I could tell you, pardon me? Well, it's,
When are you gonna put the $3?
go ahead, Alderman Roy Wesley.
When are you gonna make up that $3? I mean, we're in
Well-
2015 and you're at 5 million now. 2016 is gonna go to 4, 2017 is gonna go to 2.
But see, those are council decisions. We'll have that discussion, and this council will make up those decisions. I mean, listen, if somebody wants to make a motion, you want to just do the $3 and get it over with, you can, of course, this council can make that. I would not suggest that to the residents. We have a lot of residents that need help, and we're going to do the best we can. And I know that's what you want to do also. You already said that. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but
Well-
there will be some increases.
There
There has to be. It's, you know, we know that.
But maybe we're going too small. Maybe we need to
well,
raise it a little more. I
When-
don't know.
In 3 months, we can
But
have that discussion.
I would
mean,
like staff to come back with some recommendations on what they think should be done. I don't know what
Well, I
those
can
are.
tell you what staff's thinking.
Well,
They like the $3, so we don't have to have this discussion in 3
I-
months or have it next year. That would make their life easier, but
I understand that, but we have a very good finance director, and
No,
I'm sure
no,
he
he's-
could come up with some ideas, and throw it around with the city manager and
right, no.
go from there.
And those conversations have to be had. That's it for sure. Alderman Jacob, you were next. Go ahead.
Just a couple questions for Brad. I just want to make sure, I think some people have the wrong idea. Some people, I think, are expecting some kind of refund checks from the city, and that is not happening, correct?
Mr. Wilson.
I'm unaware of any direction to send out checks to 4,000 properties.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any.
And then
Go ahead.
this 350,000 that we're keeping in, if next year we need it in the general fund for whatever that goes towards, gas, electric, staff, salaries, we could always, next year, instead of 688, we could always add that 350 back. Correct?
Mr. Wilson, you want to answer? Go ahead. It's already in there.
Yeah, the 688 is rebudgeted in this year. If you wanted to add the 350 back, that would be above the budget authorities. That would be a council decision and a potential budget amendment to the water fund to reinstate that.
Okay, and that's all I'm saying, is that
Well-
as a city council, we could do that later down the road if
But
we have to.
This budget has a $34,000 surplus, correct, Mr. Wilson?
Correct.
34,000 plus.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comment? All right, so we have, let me just make sure we got this correct here. Who made the motion? Shirley, who gave the motion and the second?
I did, I think.
All right, you made the motion, I thought so. And Mike second, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Mike was first, Pat was
I liked it better when I was first. sure.
Okay, yeah, right. All right. Mike
Thank
was
you.
first, correct. All right, I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
Alderman Jacob.
Yes.
Alderman Lazara.
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley. Alderman
Abstain?
Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
And that passes. One abstention. Okay. That takes care of other business. Stormwater Commission, Alderman Lazara.
Yeah, I have one report, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Just to, on May 16th, we're going to have the river sweep. So any volunteers that would like to help with that, you can go to the website. It's called the River Sweep. That's May 16th from 9 to 12. It's the end of my report, Mayor.
Thank you. O'Hare Noise Committee, Alderman
Jake.
Jacob.
No report.
Thank you. Approval of list of bills for April 2nd, Alderman Sismarski.
We list of bills in the amount of, for April 2nd, 2015, in the amount of $774,131.16. Is my motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Alderman Catalano.
Yes.
Alderman Jacob.
Yes.
Alderman Lazaro.
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky.
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley. Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Woods.
Yes.
And that passes. We have no executive session, no items to be referred. I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
8:30.